Hello and welcome back to my channel if you've been here before. If you have not, my name is Karina Joy and I talk about books on this channel. And yeah, today I'm going to be talking about my quarter year crisis. So, yeah, the quarter year crisis tag. I was not going to do this tag because, I don't know, but then I was like, oh, there's some things I need to talk about as far as goals go, and I thought this would be a good tag to do that with, because I'm going to change some stuff up. I'm in a serious reading slump, and I think it has to do with the way I've been reading, and I just want to change some things. So I'm going to do the tag first, and then I will talk about my changes and all the things that I want to do differently for the next couple of months, and just try that instead and see if it works better. Okay, so this is an original tag by this booktuber. For some reason, I forget to look things up beforehand, and because I'm using my phone to film, it's very difficult for me to look it up in the middle of filming because I don't want to take my phone off the tripod, look it up, get back into the film. So I'm very sorry about my unorganized ways, but that is who I am. So, you know, we're just gonna live with it. So I've seen this going around quite a bit, and like I said, I'm just doing it basically because I want to review some of my goals and then change some things up over the next couple of months. Kind of summery, like the summer season, but May is going to be included, and May is really not a part of summer. But so yeah, let's get into the questions. So question number one is, how many books have you read so far? So according to Goodreads, I have read 57 books, and that's all together. So I do read books to my kids, and I put it on Goodreads because I like to have a record of every book I've read throughout the year. And Goodreads is the perfect place for me to do that because while we're reading, we can just scan the book, put it on there, you know. So I use Goodreads to record everything, and then I keep track of my own books somewhere else. But out of that, I counted 45 of them were for me. So quite a few of what I've read has been for my pleasure. Some of it, like I just read 12 or 11 picture books for Picture This. So not all of it's like adult books. But if I read it for my own purposes, I counted it as mine. And so 45 were mine. And then I've had 10 DNFs, which actually those were all pretty much in the first part of the year. I haven't had a DNF in a while, so I'm happy about that. Okay, question number two. Sorry, my dog is in here and she keeps bumping the tripod. Come here, Lila. Can you lay down? Lay down. See, you're bumping it. You're bumping it. Lay down. You can see her tail. Okay, so question number two is, have you already found a book that may be your favorite for 2022? This is a yes. I have read tons of 5-star books this year, and I can't decide if I'm just like super generous on my star ratings or if I've just had a really good reading year. But by far my favorite for this year already was What We Found in a Corn Maze and How It Saved a Dragon, and I will put a picture of it up here. I read it from the library, so I don't actually own it, but I will be buying it because it was an amazing book. It's middle grade fantasy. There's zombies and gargoyles and dragons and magic, and yeah, it is just the coolest book. So it's more of a Halloween type book, so I'm gonna get it before October and I will read it again in October, because it's just a fun book for Halloween. So that is the one that I think could be my favorite for the year. Are there any 1-star or least favorite of the year? I don't really do 1-stars because if I don't like a book, I'm not gonna finish it. I probably 3-star is the lowest that I'm gonna give a book, and that's just kind of like a subpar book that was all right, but not my favorite, and I didn't feel like it was amazing. But I will add a book here that I feel like could be my least favorite, even though I did DNF it, and that is The Lovely Bones. Now, starting out, I really enjoyed The Lovely Bones. I liked its pacing, and I liked the concept of going into a serial killer's thoughts, and I liked the concept of diving into the grief of everyone, including like from the mom and dad down to the 4-year-old brother, and how different each one of them felt about losing the main character. I can't remember her name, Susie. So they lost her, and they dive into all the grief and everything, and I loved that. But about halfway through the book, you could tell it was just starting to lose speed, and I knew it was coming because there were little hints. But the mom, sorry if you've never read this, this is a spoiler, and you might have to skip ahead. But the mom ends up having an affair, and I just wasn't really having it. So what I did is I went and read the Wikipedia summary of the book, and honestly, if I would have finished the book, I would have been very upset. If I would have finished the book, I would have been very upset because it just kind of went off the rails as far as what it was working on in the first place. And so I'm happy I didn't finish that book, but if I would have, I can guarantee it would have been a 1-star, because I would have hated that ending and everything that came after what I did read. The genre that you've read most so far. So I have read mostly graphic novels. Graphic novels are new to me. I've never really read them, and so getting into them, I've been very enthusiastic about it, because I find it really fun to have a story that's not a children's story, but that it's illustrated. And so graphic novels have been my friend this year, and I've read a little bit of both children's graphic novels and also adult graphic novels. But it's just, to me, an artwork that I have underappreciated for a very long time, and so getting into it this year has been fun, and I know that I will be forever attached to graphic novels because they're amazing. Okay, so the next question is a book that surprised you. This book I was loving, and it surprised me because right in the middle of it, it switched gears, and I couldn't keep listening to it. So I was listening to it. It's called Ruby Falls, and it's about a girl who's, just like in the first chapter, her dad leaves her in the middle of these caverns called Ruby Falls, and her name is Ruby, and he just leaves her and disappears, and she never sees him again. And so obviously this has long-lasting consequences for her, traumatic consequences, and she ends up growing up and becoming an actress, and she marries a guy just on a whim, She doesn't even really know a whole lot about him. It's characterized as a psychological thriller, and uh, the movie that she accepts a role for is a remake of Rebecca by Daphne du Maurier. And so I was like super intrigued by all of that because it was amazing. And all the way up until about halfway through the book, it was clean. And I mean, I was enjoying it. And then all of a sudden, it was just like massive amounts of cussing. So the reason why it surprised me is because half of the book had no cussing and no indication that there was going to be cussing. Hang on just a second. And then all of a sudden there was a ton. And it was so much that I just didn't really appreciate it. And so I stopped listening to it. But I would have loved to finish that book had it not had this surprising element in it in the middle of it. Okay, so a book that has come out in 2022 that you want to read but you haven't yet. This is The Daughter of the Moon Goddess. I'm not real sure a whole lot of details about this one. It is on my alphabet reading challenge for the year for the letter D, and it came out in February. So I'm kind of waiting for the price to go down just a little bit. You know, because I'm stingy when it comes to buying books, but I'm excited about it. It is, I believe it's Chinese mythology, kind of like a retelling, and so I'm excited about that. I love mythology and I love retellings, so I think it will be a good one. Okay, so one goal that you are succeeding at. So I am succeeding at reading my alphabet challenge. So at the end of last year, I went through my Goodreads and I picked 21 books from each letter. And then I randomly picked a book from those for each letter, if that makes sense. I have videos of it. Super fun. I plan on doing it every year just because it suits my nerdy need to, I don't even know, create something fun. So I have been doing really well reading those books. I have not finished every single one of them. Some of them are part of my DNFs, but I still count it as a success because I have gone through and either read and realized that the book wasn't for me and DNF'd it, or I have finished on average 2 of my alphabet books a month, which is basically what I need. I need to read some months I need to read a couple of more to get that finished by the end of the year, but I've been doing well on that one. The next one is a goal you need to focus on. So I absolutely love short stories, and at the end of the year I read a ton of them during December. So my goal for this year was to read more short stories. And I wanted to read at least 275, and I think I've read like, I don't know. I want to say that I've read less than 10. So I haven't been doing real well, but I do have a solution for that because next month I am hosting a short reads readathon with Chantel from Chantel Reads All Day and Mitzi from Mitzi Reads and Writes, and we are going to be reading a short story every day. I plan on documenting that in a weekly vlog, so each day I will talk about the story that I read and my thoughts on it, and then at the end of the week I will do a vlog for that. I am notorious for planning things and then not succeeding, so I don't know, but that is my goal. I want to do a weekly vlog in May talking about my short stories. So that will get me some of the way on reading more short stories. And then because of that, I have ordered several short story collections, and I have also found a whole lot of short story collections at the library that now that I'm aware of, I can go and check out throughout the year. And instead of just reading them digitally, which is what I've done before, I can actually sit down with a book, which I'm more likely to pick up. So I'm excited about all of those short story collections, and I think that I will do better from here on out with that goal. The next question is new to you booktubers. So I am constantly on BookTube. It's probably shameful how much I watch BookTube, but I have found quite a few new booktubers recently that I am really enjoying watching. So the first one I'm going to talk about, she has been on BookTube for a while now. I just recently found her and have been enjoying watching her videos. Her channel's name is BookBoop and her name is Rachel, and I absolutely love her content. She reads some horror books, which I'm not a big fan of, but I really do love listening to her talk about books and her enthusiasm for them. And it's inspiring to see somebody doing what I'm doing and loving it. And yeah, so I really enjoy her channel. The next one, she is actually new to BookTube and new to me. Her channel is Book Lover Amanda. Obviously her name is Amanda. She is a Christian booktuber and talks about, she has a Bible flip through for a couple of her Bibles that she has, and she has reviews on some Christian books and things like that. So I have been enjoying watching hers. The next one I have been enjoying because her sense of humor just cracks me up. So every time she has a video, even if it's about a book that I probably wouldn't read otherwise, I like to listen to it because she makes me laugh. But her name is Carrie and her channel name is Carrie's Sweet Apple. Super, super amazing channel. You need to check it out. So the next one is Libraries and Labradors, and her name is Melissa. Her videos are super sweet. She talks about all kinds of different books. She kind of has, I know she reads a lot of historical fiction and things like that, but I love just watching her talk about books, which is mainly the reason why I love all of booktubers, because you know, I like books. I like to talk about books, and I like to listen to people talk about books. And I think if you were to ask the majority of people that watch BookTube, that's the reason why they do. So these four ladies have some amazing content. Check them out. Please let them know that I mentioned them, and that's why you decided to subscribe. If you do subscribe, that way they know where it's coming from. I know I've had a few times where people have mentioned my channel and gotten a whole bunch of subscribers and had no idea where it was coming from. So mention it, let them know, and I hope that you enjoy them as well. So now I'm going to talk about my goals from here on out. So I have been in this major reading slump. It started in March, and really I don't think I've gotten out of it yet. I'm trying though. And I think it has to do with this format that I never did until I started BookTube, and that is picking books for a month's time. And I'm learning quickly that I do finish books within a month's time, but not every book that's on my TBR. So I have some books that I finish in that month, and then some books I don't. And then I get overwhelmed because I haven't finished that book, but I'm starting a new month and a new TBR, and I don't like the pressure that comes from feeling like I should be finished and then starting something new. And I don't know, it's a whole thing. It's me. I know it's not everybody, but I'm gonna have to change it up because I don't think it's gonna work for me. So from here on out, what I will be doing, I'm not gonna do monthly TBRs. I do have yearly TBRs that I'm working on. So I am reading, I'm doing my alphabet challenge, and then I have the Read Your Bookshelf challenge, and you know, there's readathons that come up throughout the year, which is awesome, and I love to get involved in those, but I never know about them until, you know, I've already done my TBR, and then I'm like, oh no, I have to add more, and it's just too much pressure for me. So what I will do from now on, this is what I used to do, and it worked really well for me, and I don't know exactly like how structured I'll be, and hopefully I can still make things interesting. I love watching monthly TBRs, and I love watching monthly wrap-ups, but I just don't think they work for me. So from here on out, I am going to be focusing on genres. It's what I used to do. I've never been real great at reading one book at a time because I get bored and I want to read something else. And so what I'm planning on doing is having a book going for each genre that I like to read. So for instance, I'll have a nonfiction, thriller, fantasy, you know, all of those things. I think what I'm going to do is do like a recent reads video once or twice a month to update you on what I'm reading, since I'm not going to be doing wrap-ups and TBRs anymore, but I will, you know, let you know what I'm reading and how I'm enjoying it and those kinds of things. So I'm going to give that a try for a few months, probably during the summer at least. The summer gets crazy for me because we're going out, you know, going to the beach or swimming or whatever, and I typically do not read as much in the summer months as I do any other time. So I'm going to try that for the next few months, reading just genre specific TBRs, and joining in with all the readathons and things like that that are going on. And then I'm going to reevaluate when we come into the fall and see which one I like better, doing monthly TBRs and wrap-ups as opposed to updating you on my recent reads and doing things like book recommendations and book reviews. So I'm gonna give it a shot. We'll see. I hope that you guys enjoy that content as well. I'm sure you will, because I enjoy all of those things just as much as I do TBRs and wrap-ups as well. So I'm sure you guys will enjoy it. I just have to change it up, and I'm hoping it'll get me out of my reading slump. So anyway, that is it for this video. If you like this video, please like and subscribe if you haven't already. If you have, thank you so much. I have thoroughly been enjoying doing BookTube for almost 6 months, and I'm excited every time I get new subscribers because it means that somebody somewhere wants to listen to what I have to say, and to me that's just amazing. So I do appreciate all of my subscribers, and I hope to get to know you better in the comments below. So let me know what you think about monthly TBRs and wrap-ups, and is that your favorite way to read your books, or do you have a different way of doing it? I will see you in the next video.